Hello guys, it's GirlGotGame and welcome back to The Letter. Do you feel that change in the air? Because change is finally here. The cross was so excited it fell over. So yes, it is finally time for us to accept Becca's offer in Isabella's chapter and open the hatch in Hannah's chapter. So when we get to the end of Bella's chapter, I will bring you guys in, and we'll start seeing what changes are afoot. Alright guys, we are here. Well, basically, we have one choice before the choice. So instead of going to work and keeping our girls safe, we are going to stay home and get this call. And today, we are meeting up with Becca. Perhaps it's better to talk to Becca about this in person, not over the phone and when I'm calm. It's not too late. She might still listen to a reasonable explanation.
Okay. I'll meet you after school. So long as you don't make me pay, okay? I've already treated you to free food the other day.
You know I'm not like that. If there's anyone who should be complaining here, it's me.
But promise me you'll stay safe, alright?
What's gotten into you? I don't think that's necessary, considering I'll be at school the whole day. I'll wait for you here, understood? Don't be late. I can only stay until...
Promise me. If something bad happens, you'll run and...
The Luxbon Police Department continues its search for the following reported missing people.
I left the phone away from my ears and turned my attention to the news. Never mind that Becca's still on the line. These faces... Hold on a second. Missing? Aren't they?
Becca, I'll call you back. There's something I have to look up.
Wait, Isabella, what are you...
Frantic, I press the end call button and open my laptop. The loud tapping of my fingers against the keys fills the room for the rest of the day as I look through everything. Does she realize sooner about all these people missing that haven't seen the letter? Interesting. The background about the place, its history from the current owners, and the list of employees hired under BRC. And I'm right. Of course I am! BRC may have a lot of staff, they may have a lot of agents hired, but I remember those names anywhere! After all, they're part of the crew who worked with us in preparing the mansion for the open house. Still, I've got to check. One by one, call after call, I go through each person missing on the list. This isn't anything illegal, right? I'm just someone concerned for a fellow co-worker. Right? Okay, I'm a little antsy now that it's nighttime and we're still here. The night has fallen by the time I've gone through the whole thing. They're gone. They're really gone. No one knows where, but they're gone. Then the letters? No, that can't be. I hope it's not what I'm thinking.
But Rose is...
Something snaps into place in the fraction of a moment. These people in Rose...
I need to tell someone.
They need to know. Ash. Zach. Becca! That's right! We agreed to meet. She needs to know. Of course. Of course! The letter, my phone, papers, anything that will be useful. I grab all of them and make a run for the nearest bus stop. She really did figure it out this early. Interesting. Okay. Isabella Santos holed herself in her apartment the whole day after the devastating news of her mentor's death. More disappearances were reported that morning, most of them faces she was familiar with. After talking to Rebecca Gale, she agreed to meet with her for dinner, but... but... I'm already late. Becca must be really annoyed at me, but maybe if I use the subway, I can still get to her before her patience snaps. As I run, I bring up my phone to my ear. Her number is already being dialed. Each rings in sync with the quick tapping of my foot against the pavement, the sound taking away the edge from the agonizing weight. She's not answering. Why did it get darker? I turn to the nearest shortcut I know, a small street Becca has warned me to never take before. 'Cause, you know, when death is on the line, that's a good idea. No lights, no other pedestrians passing by at this time of the night. It's dangerous, but right now I have to. If I want to fix this, I have to get to her. Reaching the crosswalk at the end of the short avenue is a relief. A little more and I'll be at the station once I get to the other side of the street. My fingers fly over the keypad again in another attempt to call her. 5 seconds till the signs change. Please answer! 4 seconds. Becca's still not picking up. 3. I hate that this is a countdown. I redial her number for the 3rd time. 2. Please, please, I beg of you. 1. My feet are already moving. And finally it connects. Help me! The world grinds to a halt. And when I look up, she's there. Oh, dang, girl. Nice anime demon eyes you got there. With the same misshapen face, tattered clothes, and unsightly gait. Her voice reaches out to me again, calling like every other time. Oh, this is bad. We're in the middle of the crosswalk, aren't we? Whispering, whispering, and whispering, drowning my ear with endless pleas and cries, gripping me with words I couldn't even begin to understand. There are shadows pulling at the edges of my vision, and the terror her presence brings wounds itself tighter on my legs this time, pinning me to the ground. Oh. I heard that.
No! Enough! How can I possibly help you? I couldn't even help myself. Or the people I dragged into this!
She smiles, her lips contorting into something menacing. At least she doesn't have an Alfred smile right now. And right then and there, I understand the cutting anger in her eyes and the depth of the circumstances we found ourselves in. There is no escape. It is the last thing I see before my phone slips from my fingers and... No jaywalking! Oh, she got run over by a car! Oh, I didn't even I didn't. How did you get? I haven't clicked anything. I was looking, game. I was looking. I was about to say, girl got hit so hard, shoe flew off her foot. And then I wasn't able to focus on anything else, so I guess I'll have to look at that in post. Hey, I got like 3... I got 3 achievements. Hooray! No update in my journal about that delightful scenario. Okay, so... When you agree to meet up with friends, sometimes
yes,
you get run over by a car.
I am very happy, Luke. Because for once in a very long time...
Okay, Hana, just cool it for one momento, please. Okay, so that was a thing.
But
that happened, for sure. Hey, we're gonna open that hatch in a little while. Won't that be delightful? And then we'll get to see what that leads to. Oi. I definitely was not expecting that. I mean, as soon as she stopped in the middle of the crosswalk, I was like, oh, we're gonna get run over. And so that did happen. The only thing is that I'm like, Bella, why? I know Bella is like very impetuous and impulsive and doesn't think through things sometimes. I
was just...
So, I mean, okay, I can kind of buy that she's like, I gotta go through this dangerous alleyway where murders have definitely happened to get to my friend because she can't wait, like, 5 more minutes. And I'll give Becca the benefit of the doubt and hope that she wasn't intentionally ignoring Isabella's calls and that it was ghost interference, but we'll see. Anyway, I'll stop yabbering so we can open the hatch and see what happens with this. I may not be going down, but there's no point in talking through closed doors. Or hatches, in this case. The thing refuses to budge at first until there is a soft click and it easily swings free. As I lift up the hatch and look down into the cellar, a sense of uneasiness washes over me, like I've dreamt of this moment. It isn't just the sudden onset of vertigo and nausea, but also the darkness. It's suffocating. And as I look down, it feels as if it's looking back at me. I worry that something will suddenly pull me into the deep. I can hear her whispering. Like that. Calling for me. She wants me. Needs me. She wants to drown me, pull me down, and suffocate me in her embrace until I sink to the bottom. A deep abyss waits, inviting yet foreboding. She's calling to me from in there, isn't she? And I do want to help, I do. But the shadows threaten to creep out, and a feeling of apprehension keeps me in place. Already it paints the room in a darker light. Ah. This is like the dream all over again. There is a hook in my stomach as well. But this time it doesn't pull me back. Instead, it pulls me forward. There is a lurching sensation, and the feeling that follows after is hard to explain. It feels like I'm watching myself from the sidelines, a spectator to my actions or lack thereof. I will myself to snap out of this detached feeling, to move, to do anything except stare at myself. And for a moment I see the look of fear in my own face. Oh, that is a weird out-of-body experience. I'm back in my body, but the hook in my stomach is no longer the only one. There are hooks everywhere, tearing and pulling at my skin, flesh, and bones. They pull at me in every direction, and it hurts. It hurts so much, but I just can't bring myself to scream out.
Help me.
QTE skipped. Oh, there's a QTE there. Oh, no. Oh. Well, I didn't realize that. QT... Okay, well... I guess next time I go through this, I'll have to turn the QTE back on again, just for that little one. So I probably want 100% Hana's branching tree right now, but that's okay. So she opened it, and then she wakes up here. Just blacks out after the out-of-body experience. I wake from a deep slumber. It takes a while with the fog that has settled in my head and with my heavy limbs, but soon enough I manage to look around. I'm in our bedroom already, although I do not recall going here. Luke slumbers beside me, looking peaceful and angelic, as he does. It doesn't matter. I'm safe, and I feel better than ever. Tomorrow, better days will come. Okay. Luke is already gone by the time I rise. There isn't a single hide nor hair of him to be found, and trying to call him on his mobile is a bust, as it only goes straight to his voicemail. That's twice in a row he's gone on me. And for him to disappear today of all days is every bit upsetting because of what's to come. Okay, are we back to normal? Okay, we are.
What do I think of the matter, ma'am?
No, what do you think of my hair? It feels so lifeless and dull today, and that's no good for a party. And I think I'm breaking out into zits.
Oh.
Now that you mention it, there is something different.
There better not be something on my face.
I wouldn't worry about that. You do look a little paler than usual, ma'am.
Am I dead?
I apologise if I'm crossing any lines here, but have you been resting properly?
Marianne, am I possessed? Has a ghost taken over my body, my dead body? Did it like suck my soul out, and that's why I had an out-of-body experience, and I'm not actually here anymore? Is it like the last remaining embers of my soul?
Huh. You'd think I get a bit tanned with how sunny it's been lately. Don't you worry. I feel right as rain and never better. But back to the matter at hand.
You were asking for my personal opinion on the matter, ma'am? Do you want me to be honest, or...
Sure.
Be honest with me, Marianne. I don't need someone to sugarcoat it.
Okay, now you seem back to normal, Hana. Girl? Girl? You're scaring me. You're worrying me. Just a little bit. Okay, so what's gonna happen with the confrontation? Okay. So the confrontation changes. Do I still get the option of, like, continuing the marriage or not? Let's see. Okay, that's normal. There really was nothing about... Not even in the journal was it mentioned that she opened the hatch. Interesting. It is now that Johans returns with security along with a concerned-looking Officer Lee. They surround her and move to escort the hysterical woman. Judging by his pale face, he has heard the whole thing, and I feel nothing but pity for the man. Not that I believe Rochelle. Luke will never... He will never go so far as to sleep with another woman, right?
I'm so sorry for her behaviour. She's been under a lot of stress. And the alcohol. Talking nonsense, that's all it is. You're not allowed to drink because of the baby, Shelley. What are you thinking?
Nothing to see here, people. Move along.
Is there really nothing here but the ramblings of a drunk? Of course they're nothing but ramblings of a drunk. She's just jealous. Jealous of this wonderful marriage, this happily ever after that I have with my prince. My prince. Okay.
Take that trollop out of here immediately!
Catfight!
And see to it that she isn't allowed to hear or anywhere we hold any authority in Luxbourne.
Ooh. To be banned from anything with the right name on it is basically social suicide. We practically own half of Luxbourne, and there isn't a single establishment of repute that isn't under our patronage, one way or another. This is mercy. I can do much worse to her. At least this way she can just move out of the city and never ever return. I have stayed my hand in the face of her grievous fault, her bold-faced lies, when she deserves so much more. I can take away her business, have her factory shut down. Damn! It is too easy to ruin her life until she is just nothing. I feel like I'm reading Luke's thoughts instead of Hannah's. And it is all so tempting. I can only see red. The tension is thick in the air, and the silence that embraces the room is nearly deafening. There are worried and almost fearful glances from some of the guests, yet at the same time I can still hear them whispering. But as long as they hold their tongues and don't interfere, none of those matter to me. Especially when my darling looks at me with a different shine in his eyes. It almost seems as if he's proud of what I have done, and that spurs me on more than anything.
Everyone, please go back to enjoying the party. Don't let that mess of a woman ruin your night.
You heard her! Strike up the band, maestro, and let us dance like fireflies in the night!
I remember dancing with fireflies in the night, but that was with Zachary. Alright, well they struck up the music. We really didn't tell everyone to, like, leave and get out because the party's over. It takes a bit for the crowd to stir again in the face of all that. But like most problems of the elite, it is brushed under the rug and forgotten in favor of merriment. He offers his hand to me with a small smirk and a bow.
Well, that was a mess, wasn't it? And you handled it magnificently.
Just a little bit of a mess.
It happens.
It happens?
We are very important people, are we not?
Hannah, have you always been so red?
Milady, would you like to dance?
Milady.
With pleasure, my prince.
No one is going to get in between me and my darling husband. Not Rochelle or any other rich, snooty scrubber. Not some common whore or an ambitious maid. An ambitious maid. No one is going to get near him in that manner, not while I'm around. And if I have anything to say about it, no one is going to get near him at all. And we became a Yandere. Good. Grand. So we just danced the night away like fireflies. That is a very cute picture, though. In the aftermath of Rochelle's accusations, an enraged Hannah banned her former friend from setting foot in any of their properties. Despite what happened, the commotion was brushed off and the party continued. Luke and Hannah were seen dancing sweetly together all night. So cute. The day after proved to be a difficult task. My darling prince is a man of many connections, a man of the people. He is always talking to one person or another, and I am always left alone, unable to stay at his side at all times. It is frustrating, but I have to be understanding. Besides, I don't see why he can't just stay at home. The least I can do is to make sure I have his time while he's here, which, in and of itself, isn't as easy as it sounds. Not with that bloody valet of his tailing him around. Uh-oh. Johans, you better keep an eye on your charge.
Johans! Where's my tie? I can't find it anywhere.
You're wearing it, Luke.
Have you looked around your neck? It should be there if it's not on your clothes horse, sir.
It isn't often that I'm awake this early. At least early enough to find my darling preparing for the day with his valet attending to him. It is an old-fashioned way to go about the morning. He's able to dress himself after all. But he says that it really makes the day easier for him to have someone else do this tedious task, albeit with a grimace. Though, if that manservant of his dislikes the duty so much, I'll gladly do it in his stead. Hana's thought patterns have significantly changed, and I'm very sus.
I've got it, my prince. Come here.
Well, someone's up and at them especially early this morning, huh? Here I thought you'd be knackered by all the dancing we did last night at the party. And after that... well...
Oh? A saucy little wink and a smile is what he offers me as I draw close to fix his tie. Get it, girl? And when the valet reaches out with his perfume, I quickly take it and shoo him aside. This close, his scent fills me with the smell of white flowers, cocoa, cardamom, and almonds. It's quite a combination. It is intoxicating. And the sight of the two of us in the vanity mirror is picturesque and perfect. Can I help it if I feel a bit resentful that another person gets to do this for Luke every morning when I could have done it myself? No. No, I can't.
You're dismissed, Shroken. I have this.
Shroken? Yeah... Hana's definitely changed.
Go on then. You'll be summoned if you're needed.
Glasses fog up. There is a curious look, furrowed brows, before any sign that he cares is wiped from his expression.
Very well. If you need me, I'll be somewhere that isn't here.
You could have let the man do his job.
And I say there's no need for him. I can take care of you just fine, my prince. Just where are you off to this morning anyway?
I hate the thought of him leaving me. It feels like an eternity without him here, in this lonely place that doesn't feel like a home quite yet. Although the mansion is really growing on me, slowly but surely. I want to be at his side, yet he fails to see such an obvious thing.
Business. Where else?
Why can't you just work from home? You can afford to, can't you?
Business needs a firm hand and a personal touch, Buttercup. Besides, I can't stay cooped up forever in here. I'll go mad.
Well, you'll come back home as soon as possible, won't you? It's so awfully lonely here without you, my prince.
At first, I was wondering if maybe Charlotte had taken Hana over, but with the whole my prince, it makes me think that it's Takako instead. I'm not sure. I need to think about this some more. Because I feel like Charlotte refers to Luke more as my love. Although that could be Takako. I don't know. There's definitely like two distinct endearments that are directed towards Luke. There's like my prince and there's my love. Or my lord, I guess is also one.
I could. I don't see why I should, though. This hasn't been a problem before. You know I'll come home when I come home.
Just get home as soon as you can. For me, won't you?
No promises. It's business after all. I can't just stand up in the middle of the meeting and tell them the wife wants me home.
Then forget those peasants.
Ah, peasants. Luke's favorite word. He stops and stares, looking perturbed for a moment before shaking his head. Is he feeling ill? That's more reason for him to stay here with me, doesn't it? I'm just being a good wife, worrying about my husband and all.
Be good, dear. And stay safe. There's been all sorts of dodgy characters seen about the property.
Be good?
I'll be leaving Johans with you, just in case you need anything, and to be on the safe side, okay?
But I don't need a valet. I need you here with me.
I'll be closing a big deal with a pharmaceutical company soon, if things go according to plan. Maybe, after that, I can take a breather for a bit.
No maybes. You have to promise me.
I only need him.
I'm going to be late, Hannah. The longer this takes, the later I'll get home.
Fine. Shall I see you out?
If that's what you want.
At the front door, his valet waits, ready to accompany him for the rest of the day when he's told to stay and attend to me. I still don't like it. It looks like he doesn't either. But I ignore him in favor of the one who really matters. I hold Luke's hand in mine and give him a deep kiss. It makes my heart flutter as I see the way his eyes close during our moment of passion. Parting for air, I can only smile.
Have a good day, my prince.
Right. Off I go.
Right. That's great. I still don't want him to leave. He should just stay. Maybe I should lock him in the prison underneath our house. Forever.
If you could let go of my hand, please, Hannah.
It's just so hard to let go when I finally have him in my grasp. Finally. To watch him enter his car and leave pains me so. It leaves behind an aching, gaping hole like a hunger and a need. I'm not content until he returns.
If it fits you, breakfast is ready in the parlor, madam.
If anything, I'll be in a foul mood until he returns.
Leave and go practice your bloody sodomy elsewhere.
Damn! You didn't have to go after Johans like that.
Peculiar.
When I turn around to hiss at him to leave, he's already gone, and that suits me just fine. I want to be alone without anyone bothering me. I want to be alone with myself and my thoughts, with only these halls as company. These damned halls which will hold, our memories. Just he and I. There is no one else I need but my prince. Not some cheeky servant who's just living it up because he's Luke's right-hand man. Rubbish like him deserve nothing. He deserves to be thrown and locked in the prison downstairs. Oh! The attic. Without realizing it, my feet have brought me in here. This empty, lifeless room disgusts me. The longer I stare at it, the harder it gets to breathe, as if the walls are moving in on me. Yet at the same time, it pulls me in. I hear a whispering, and curiosity gets the better of me as I look under the bed. There, on the far corner, a loose floorboard. The wood, despite having swelled and warped over the years, is strangely familiar, comforting in its feel. Though it's not merely what my hand searches for as I reach for it. It takes quite an effort, but soon I am able to lift it. And inside, underneath the dust and cobwebs, it's the necklace from when Hana was dead. Lies a pendant, warm and familiar. And I swear, if I just close my eyes, I can feel it beating in my palm. Well, that's not concerning. I feel a thrill, though I also feel like a thief for taking this. But it's mine. So without delay, I hide in our room. Okay, I'm leaning more towards the Takako theory, but Hana was being extra clingy to her husband and grew easily irritated whenever someone would go near him, including their butler. While wandering the mansion, she found an old locket hidden under the attic's bed. Ecstatic over her rare find, she immediately wore it, replacing the Evans heirloom she had always kept. Well, I'm sure that's not suspicious at all. Wasn't it Ash who said that she never takes it off? In front of the vanity, I see the ways my eyes shine as I remove the clasps of my old necklace and put on this new one. Right where it belongs. She's got no eyeballs anymore. That's not good. It fits a lot better than the old one. I can feel it as it weighs on my chest.
Right where it belongs.
Oh, yeah, she's dead. She's definitely... her soul has left her body. Hey! We got the achievement for finishing all of Hana's stuff, too. Even though I didn't do the QTE. I mean, I'll take it. This has been some heavy stuff so far, guys. Not gonna lie. A lot has happened.
No, Rebecca's not.
Oh, hi, Ash. Oh, right. I forgot that this is gonna be different, too, because of, Bella getting run over instead of dying in her apartment. His voice hitches, and I fail to catch the last of what he's saying over the sudden racket on the other side of the line. When the noise dies down, however, he does not continue. This abrupt change in his tone, the unexpected hesitance to speak, puts me on the edge, and a different kind of anxiety clings to me. Something's wrong.
Here is where, Ash?
Ermengarde Memorial Hospital. ER.
Hospital? So she's not dead.
Becca's already there. I need to be off somewhere. Just get there. Please.
Aw, he wants his best friend to be where he can't. He drops the call before I can ask more. Maybe it's just me, or my sleep-addled brain, but in that short moment he sounds almost as if he's pleading. The thought alone does not ease the lump of dread gripping my insides, already heavy with fear. But despite the questions currently swimming inside my head, I waste no time in getting dressed, the rest of the day's plans and scheduled meetings effectively forgotten. Whatever lies ahead, I hope this ain't one of those times when my intuition is right. Damn, that lady sitting down, though, has got quite the bod. Dr. Vogel, neurosurgeon. Okay. Well, we got a new background. The scent of hospitals never did grow on me. Same. Too fresh, too medicinal, too sterile. And if I'm to go down the more morbid train of thought, I'd say the air smells a little like blood and death if one pays closer attention. Yeah, I always feel like I'm gonna die in a hospital. It's not entirely terrible in itself, just that the scent alone is enough to bring about old memories, mostly unpleasant. I'm not saying the recent birth of my niece is one, of course. That has been a good milestone for both me and my sister's family. It's simply unfortunate that the disinfectant has to be everywhere for something anyone wants to commit to memory.
Did Isabella ever feel this way when she visits her father?
Aw. The same odor assaults my senses as I make my way through the corridors in search of the emergency room. Recently renovated, according to one of the guards I asked for directions. Considering how long the place has been around, I'm not surprised they already made plans to modernize. Gotta keep up with the times, they say, especially for a place where lives are saved. I don't have time to admire the new work, though. Soon the person I'm searching for comes into view. Rebecca's sitting still on one of the few benches lining the hall, her head bowed and her shoulders rising and falling in a slow rhythm with her breathing. Oh, all her stuff! Covered in her blood. She has a pencil case. Girl brought a pencil case to this very important meeting with Becca. A pile of papers and various other personal effects have been arranged neatly beside her. And is that blood on those? I try to ignore the foreboding feeling it sends me as I reach for her and shake her awake.
Rebecca, I'm here. Wake up.
She opens her eyes at the second tap, along with a small yawn of her own. In the hospital's bright lighting, the dark circles under her eyes are more noticeable. Her voice is still rough with sleep when she greets me.
Zach, did Ash call you in?
Pretty much. Woke me up, actually. Said it was urgent. What happened?
He didn't tell you?
No.
Not really. He just said I needed to be here. Is everything all right? It sounded pretty urgent when he called. The way that guy phrased it, I thought for sure you had gotten into an accident or something.
Rebecca shifts in her chair, smooths a hand over her face, and lets out a sigh weighted enough with fatigue as she does so.
I'm sorry, Zachary. It's just been a long night. I don't really know how I'm supposed to break this to you. Ashton should be the one doing this, but...
The guy's busy again. No worries. You could tell me anything.
No, it's Isabella.
I'm afraid I can't quite follow, ma'am.
Ma'am.
You weren't entirely wrong. But it wasn't me, obviously. Last night, she got into an accident. A car accident. She was hurt pretty bad, and they had to rush her here.
A lump has suddenly lodged itself to my throat, making it difficult to get the next words out.
How bad exactly are we talking about here, Rebecca?
critical.
Great.
But I don't know. I didn't see her myself. When I came here, she was already in the ER. Has been since last night. The doctors haven't said anything since then.
And Ash?
He's looking into the crash. He hasn't called again, but he promised to keep us updated.
Another heavy sigh comes out of her. Abruptly, she stands and starts pacing, her trembling fingers laced tightly together in front of her. She continues for a good minute, treading the hall in short, uneven steps before stopping and pressing both of her palms over her eyes. As if that alone will be enough to stave off her exhaustion. Why don't you sleep for a bit? I'll take this shift.
I called her out, you know? I promised I'll treat her to dinner if she gets out of her room. I was only hoping it would cheer her up after the news. The one about her co-worker yesterday. And now, I should have just kept my mouth shut. If I did, then maybe she'd still be.
Hey, don't blame yourself. You had no idea this would happen.
Yeah, literally, if she said no, she would have had her organs ripped out of her chest, so... Not to say getting run over by a car is great, but, you know, I imagine getting your organs ripped out of your chest is probably more painful.
An accident is an accident. If there's someone you should hold responsible for this, it's that ass who ran her over.
Facts.
Ash will find that guy, don't worry.
I wish it were that easy. God, it's one after another, Zachary. And no one will tell me anything. I came in here asking for her, and all they said was, "She's in critical condition, ma'am." What are we supposed to do? I want to do something. I need to do something, but I can't. Not when she's still in there. Still fighting for her life.
I wish I can give her the answer she wants to hear right now. But that has always been the hardest part in circumstances like this. Always out of our control, always out of our hands. The least I can say to her right now is... yeah, you need a break. I mean, she knows this. That's what's frustrating. Take a break. Have a sleep. Go get a chocolate bar, get a coffee, or tea, whatever. But take a break. Take a moment. Okay, good. Rebecca does not move nor pull away when I lay a reassuring hand on her back and lead her to an empty seat. If things are not as bleak as they appear, I doubt she would freely accept the gesture, strong-willed as she is.
I know you're worried, Rebecca. We all are. But you have to think about yourself, too. I'll be straight with you. You look like you're a few steps away from falling over. How do you think Bella will react if she sees you like this right now?
You don't have to mince words with me. Just say I look like horse dung, Zachary. I won't be mad.
So specific.
All right, ma'am. You look like you stepped and rolled in a pile of horse dung today.
It's funny seeing Zachary be so formal with her, like, "Ma'am, I gotta tell you, you look terrible."
Not the same thing, but the way you are, there doesn't seem to be any difference.
There. Wasn't that easy?
Sure.
But, yeah, she'll scold me. Believe me, Belle will. She whines with how bossy I am every time. But she doesn't realize how she's every bit of a mother hen as I am. Don't tell her I said that. And then maybe she'll laugh after. She never does stay mad with anyone for long.
That she does. Or you could always offer her food.
True.
You don't have to tell me. That has always been a last resort. It works every time.
Look at us talking like she's gone and left us.
Aw.
I'm sure it's nothing like that. I think this is just us hoping we won't lose her.
We won't.
You sound very sure.
Well, times like this, the only thing left to do is to hope. Maybe pray for the best. But I don't want to believe those guys inside aren't doing the best they can to save her. They have to be if they've been at it for hours.
Yeah, I guess.
And Isabella's... you know how she is.
She's stubborn. I think that's a good thing. I want to believe she'll make it through because of that alone. I'm a mess, aren't I? One unfortunate incident, and I'm all ready to give up hope. Can't even keep myself together when nothing final has been said yet.
We all are. A mess, I mean, in more ways than one.
We let the silence fall and the words hang between us. Because the truth in those feels more tangible than what little hope we're both clinging to. Somewhere, far off the hall, I can almost hear the faint beeping of machines. Which one is Isabella's, I wonder? How is she doing? How long are we supposed to wait? Will she pull through? But it's always the waiting, ain't it? More than the fretting, it is always the long, excruciating hours that follows, blurring everything in between and slowing it down. By the point we've both drank through our third cup of coffee, we've already lost track of the seconds, the minutes we've spent sitting here. There's no idle chatter between us, only companionship and what little support we could give each other. Which is not much, considering how long the two of us have known each other. Better for Ash to be here instead of me. Or Isabella, if only she didn't have a different battle to fight right now. Then again, we won't be here if she ain't. When a door finally creaks open and a voice calls for us, none of the world shifts back into focus the way I'm expecting it would. It's Rebecca who handles it with much patience and tact while I sit on the sides. It is her who faces the nurse, who listens to him, who nods and wordlessly follows when he gestures for us to do so, all in spite of the weariness beating down on her. A different kind of burden now after that talk. I'm almost too afraid to ask. Aww, hang in there. Bella! I've never seen her with her hair out of a ponytail. She looks so small in that hospital bed. And who brought her flowers already? Dang. Moves fast. I guess I should be reading journal entries and things. Zachary received an alarming phone call from Ashton, telling him to go to Ermengarde Memorial Hospital immediately, and exhausted Rebecca informed him that Isabella got into a car accident. In a critical state, she had been put in an induced coma to keep her alive. She'd love this room. The moment the nurse opens the door and the soft late morning sunlight greets us from the sole window, I know she would. It might be a little inappropriate to think about now, but if she's well, Isabella will say the same thing. She has, after all, always favored the sun. Reminds her a little of home, she said. It reminds me a little of her, too, to be frank. In the background, the heart monitor blips faintly in a steady rhythm. She's not an easy sight to see. Covered in bandages, a thick cast on her leg and neck with all these wires and tubes attached to her. She looks nothing but frail like this. And still. Too still. She's never still, and yet here she is, her breathing too quiet for comfort even as the ventilator pumps oxygen into her.
They have to keep monitoring her.
But she's okay now? We'll just have to wait?
Not exactly. She isn't out of the woods yet.
But alive, right? I mean, she's here. Even with all this stuff attached to her, she's gonna be fine, yeah?
She lets out a breath, probably the 13th one since I joined her here, and flops unceremoniously on a nearby chair. Carefully, she reaches up and gives Isabella's bandaged hand a light squeeze. I'm not sure if that's meant to be an encouragement for the patient or her. But for all her hesitance, I'm glad it's Rebecca who has to break whatever this news is. If this is Ashton, he'd drop that without any sort of preamble. For a detective looking to get answers, it works. For people waiting on the edge, it doesn't always.
I don't know. I honestly don't know anymore. The doctors, they had to put her in an induced coma. They had to after the seizures.
Oh.
It wasn't looking good. Something about the trauma and the head injury from the accident did that.
Oh, that's not good.
I know I should have listened better. I'm sorry, Zachary. Half of it didn't even sink in.
No, I mean, that's shock. Like, you just can't process.
All I understood was she's on life support now, but they aren't expecting her to make it. Her chances aren't good from the start.
I see.
They can't just say that. They don't know her.
Story update.
I'll talk to them. They'll see reason if I just...
I did, all right? Already did. I told them to get their asses together. Even made a promise to try.
I believe that.
But you mentioned they still have to monitor her. That means they haven't given up on her, right?
They haven't. I insisted. But with how things are, they said she might never wake up. And if she ever does, she might not be the same anymore.
Oh, right, because of the brain damage. Gosh.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I was angry when I told them that, and it just came out of my mouth.
That face, though.
Maybe they're right. Maybe I should have just let them...
Oh, they asked you, like, you know, maybe you should just take her off life support now?
You did the right thing, Rebecca.
You don't know that. What if she doesn't want this?
I mean, you could always call her family and see if she ever discussed what she would want in a situation like this.
Do you see all of these? Wires and tubes and bandages everywhere. She's barely herself, clinging to dear life as it is. She can't even hear us. Doesn't even know there are people here worried sick for her.
The point is she's still here. Don't beat yourself up over what ifs. This ain't over for her, alright? I've seen people recover from even worse.
You have?
Have some faith in her.
I do have faith in her.
You know what? I think this is just a lack of sleep talking. You been here since when? Last night? Go get some rest, Miss Gales.
Miss Gales. Ma'am.
But Isabella's...
I'll take care of her, don't you worry. We can do shifts if you want.
That's what I'm saying, do some shifts.
But go home first. We'll talk about that later when you ain't looking like you're about to fall apart. If you keep going like this, you're the one who'll end up here next.
The rebuttal I'm expecting from her for even suggesting the idea doesn't come. To my surprise, she merely chuckles.
This feels like a conversation I had with Isabella a few days ago.
About your cold?
I said the exact same thing to her.
Then maybe it's a sign you should rest. Let me take over from now.
Maybe. But I'll keep that in mind. Are you sure you'll be fine alone? I'll come back this evening. So if you need anything picked up, I can get it for you.
Nah, no problem on that front. Besides, if I do need something, my apartment's just a few blocks away. Skipping a hop, that's all I need. Focus on getting some sleep. Let me take care of this for a few hours. Do it for everyone's sake,
Will do. Thanks, Zachary.
Good guy, Zach.
If something changes with her, promise me you'll call.
Of course.
You'll be the first one to know, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Well, if it comes to that. I hope the news I bring will be better than the one we got this morning. Crazy thing having to wake up to this.
I hope so too. I'll see you later.
Rebecca manages a weak smile before turning and heading out of the room. But when the door clicks shut behind her, it does so with little finality. Like saying this won't be the last, that our stay here won't be as brief as we're all hoping. Beside me, the beeping from the machines remains unceasing. The distinct familiar scent pervading the room persists as it wraps itself into the room's only occupants. Altogether, a different memory burns itself in my mind. There is something personal in the melody slowly threading itself into my consciousness. A hum, pleasant in every note, lingers in the air and carries with every shift. It reminds me of our room, of a little place my sister and I once called home, and of a promise made several springs ago, back when our walls are bare and everything's still foreign and new. The soft rustling wakes me long before I can fully remember. Someone is speaking in the room. In hushed whispers, muttering words like a secret not meant for my ears to hear.
This is stupid.
Aw, Ash is here. It takes a little while for the recognition to sink in and remind myself where I am. But, sure enough, when I shift my gaze up, Ashton's there, leaning casually against the edge of the bed, arms folded across his chest while sporting a pensive expression on his face. I'd say it's close to wistful, but this is Ash. And with the room's lights dimmed down, one really can't tell.
Hey, Ash.
If my sudden movement surprised him, it only shows in the slight lifting of his eyebrows before he acknowledges me with a small nod.
How long have you been here?
Just came in a few seconds ago.
Don't know if I believe you.
Oh, sorry. I didn't hear you.
Figures. It's not a problem. You probably need to rest anyway.
You're the one talking. You look like shit.
So I've been told.
Seriously, how long have you been up?
18, 20 hours or so? It doesn't matter. I'll get some shut-eye later. Where's Rebecca?
I sent her home early, but she'll be back too.
Ah, speak of the devil. Both of us turn just in time to see Rebecca ease the door open and step inside. She's brought a traveling bag with her, and from the way she transfers its load to her other hand, it's heavy enough with things for maybe 2 or so days worth of sleeping out. Girl. I don't know what to say to that, quite frankly. Or if I am even supposed to question her about it. Ashton no doubt has a remark or two about it, but before any of us could comment, she raises a hand to stop us.
It's not mine.
Oh. 3 words, and they are all telling enough. Just like that, an awkward silence descends in the room. All of a sudden, just the mention of her has become some sort of a taboo between us. Funny, when she's just lying a few inches away from us. God knows that she's even aware of us. Even in this quiet, I can hear her laughing. We're making a big deal out of this, she'll say. It isn't anyone's fault, but it's obvious that one way or another, each of us hold our own selves responsible for what happened, however irrational that sounds. Plenty of what-ifs, should have, and could haves going around. It's almost stifling.
Always prepared, ain't you?
I just packed what she'll be needing for a few days. I figured it'll be easier for me to bring her things since I live next door. Go take a break now, Zachary. I'll stay with her until tomorrow when her aunt gets here.
Oh, her aunt's coming, good.
She's flying over from the other side of the country. She had to file a leave to get here as soon as possible. Oh, what a mess all of this is.
Don't you have class tomorrow? You sure about that?
I can always call for a leave, too. I've got plenty, since I rarely ever use those.
That, like, forced cheerfulness is really well done by Rebecca's voice actor.
Someone has to stay here after...
No, I'll take it from here.
Becca's, like, squint, like, you'll do what? It's not that his offer is in any way unexpected. It is not even in the way he delivers it. Ash may seem distant to other people, rude to some, downright embarrassing to a few, but to those he keeps close, I'm positive he'll never hesitate to show some willingness to help. He cares. He really does. Simply in his own, unorthodox way. I'm sure Rebecca's aware of this too, more than anyone. But the tight expression on her face, her strained grip on the bag, and the stiff line on her shoulder suggests a different kind of understanding. Even in the sharp, biting tone her voice takes, despite the meaning in her words.
You don't have to do that. Zachary and I can handle this for a few days.
Becca.
Both of you already had your turn with this. It wouldn't hurt to have another person helping out.
This isn't some sort of a competition, Ash. We're doing this because someone has to be here for her.
I'm not making this one. I just volunteered, didn't I?
Don't you have an investigation to finish?
And Zach has freelance gigs in line for the next few days. You have students to teach. Don't push it, Becca. All 3 of us have things to take care of on our own. But between us, it should be easier to find some time to...
Fine. Good.
Her voice is almost too quiet. Like the calm on the eve of a brewing storm.
Do what you want.
She doesn't give him a chance to get another word in. In 3 steps, she closes the distance between them and hands him the bag, with a little more force than necessary, in my opinion. Becca, why do you have to be so extra all the time? Then, with nothing more than a sharp glare at him, she marches out the door. Maybe it's just me, but in the brief instance our eyes meet, hiding behind that flash of anger is... hurt. I wonder... Okay. Theory time. What if... I don't believe Ashton's story of, like, I've only been here, like, for a few seconds. I feel like he had a long, heartfelt monologue to Isabella. And Becca actually came and was standing outside the door being a creep listening to all of it, because, of course, she would. And that's why she's so angry about it all. Oh, boy. That's my theory. Probably see it from one of their perspectives later. Did something happen when I wasn't looking? Gosh darn, why'd I fall asleep? It certainly doesn't seem that way from the way Ash is acting.
You go ahead, Zach. I'll take over for now.
You sure this is fine?
Yeah, sure. It's not like this is a hard task. I'll probably get more sleep here than if I stay at the precinct or in my car. I'll call when something changes with Isabella. If that's what you're concerned about.
You ain't worried?
About what?
I'd say Rebecca, but he doesn't seem to have noticed earlier's exchange. Because it's Ashton Frey, detective extraordinaire, except when a girl's in love with him. Regardless, I'm not the kind of person who finds joy in prying, and it's certainly none of my business. On top of that, we have Isabella here bedridden. Rebecca's right. It's one problem after another, and to be truthful, I kind of want to ask for a little breathing room already. But that ain't how it always goes, ain't it?
This, everything, the accident. I don't know. You tell me. You were there, weren't you?
That That gives him a pause, his hand stopping short of placing the bag on the table. Judging by the conflicted look on his face, he doesn't know how to respond to that. Yet.
About this, I'll figure it out. Don't worry. I'll find out myself who did this and make sure that bastard gets his just desserts.
Yeah, ghost or no ghost, there was still a hit and run, and someone drove over her and just kept going.
Hey, so you do have an idea who?
Vaguely, but nothing conclusive yet.
If you're blaming Luke Wright for this, Ash.
I'd rather not say anything until we've got everything sorted out. It's a huge mess. This and that other case. It might even be related for all we know. Thinking about it gives me a headache.
He lifts a hand and pinches the bridge of his nose. His eyes are squeezed tight in what's perhaps a struggle not to overthink. Or keep whatever frustration he feels at a considerable distance, preferably far enough so he can think clearly. When he's like this, it's better to leave him alone with his thoughts. But as I'm about to pull the door open, ready to take my leave, he calls out,
Do me a favor, Zach.
Yeah?
Make sure you keep away from the Wrights this time. Tell Rebecca the same thing.
Ashton Frey, you and the Wrights. The name rings a bell, though at present I can't recall where I've heard it recently. Nevertheless, I nod, if only to give him some peace of mind. This guy already has enough on his plate.
I'll remember that. See you later.
If you catch up to Becca, make sure she gets home safe.
Will do. Go get some sleep yourself.
I throw him one last look, even though at this point I'm not sure what I'm searching for in his face. Reassurance? Some sort of encouragement or proof that everything will be alright? I won't dare ask anymore. Not when he's doing this. Looking forlorn, like as if he's failed a lot of people. One person in particular. Arguing. Zach volunteered to watch over Isabella while Rebecca got some rest. That night, Ashton and Rebecca visited and ended up in an argument over who should take over the watch from Zach. In the end, Rebecca stormed out and left an insistent Ashton to do it. With one last wave, I closed the door behind me, leaving wishes of hope and a whole slew of unspoken remorse and concerns in the room.